Come on, you thing. There we go. Welcome to Bracket Bash at the podcast, where we take a bracket of 32, 64, 128 or more and banter our way down to a winner. As always, I am your head bastard, Freddie Fisher, and this is
the guy you really came to hear. Let's be honest. These other guys are here, but if Harvey wasn't on this, you would have had other plans. Oh, I got to get the car fixed, or I got to wash my hair. It's me you came to see, the Black Bastard, better known as Harvandre, the one who brings the soul, the excitement, the fun to Bracket Bastards. And we're here to talk about dads. People like me. Dads. This should be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about stuff. I am the host of Men of the Prize, the podcast. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about dads. And this is
Jeremy.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, puffing on a cigar over here like Archie Bunker. But Harvey, we're not here just to recognize dads. We are here to recognize those the ladies call daddy as well. So,
Jesus, Jeremy.
How your voice get all low all of a sudden?
This is your ODB over here, your old dirty bastard saying, just call me Big Poppy and we're all good. Shout out to all the dads.
I'm not your poppy.
CJ.
Hey, what's up? This is your daddy, CJ, a.k.a. Jeremy's mom's favorite only fan. Yeah. Thanks for having me on again. I love you guys.
Mark couldn't join us. So, Darren.
Yeah, so it's Darren, DT, Angry Dad Canada, if you're looking what the ADC stands for. So it's ADC Truth. And yeah, we speak the truth, but sure as shit, we were raised by TV dads. So when you made the post saying, hey, let's talk dads, TV dads, that's what I was raised by. So we went with it.
And Jared?
Jared Stoll here, a.k.a. the Stoll Train, dad of 5. So I've got a little bit of experience and quite the spread, 19-4. So I'm right in the middle of dadding every single day of my life for the next 20 years.
And today we are the bastards running this thing. We have 6 people, which means I will not be voting unless somebody happens to jump in late, like seems to happen every single week when we do this. But we're talking TV dads. We all grew up with some TV dads. My personal favorite TV dad is the great Bandit Healer. For any of you, if any of you dads out there know who I'm talking about, you will agree with me. But today we're talking about TV dads, and Harvey will be starting us off. And we have Uncle Phil versus Julius Rock.
Uncle Phil, that's an easy one. It's going to be hard to vote against that man.
He is a number 1 seed for a reason. Jeremy.
Gonna start this off right with a fuck you, Freddie. But
It's not his birthday.
Because it's Terry. He wishes, but Terry Crews, but it's Uncle Phil. There's no fucking debating it, but it's Uncle Fuck. It's Terry Crews though. God damn it. But Uncle Phil gets it always.
Uncle Phil gets a vote. CJ.
Oh, definitely Uncle Phil. I love Julius though. He was really good.
Darren.
Yeah, Uncle Phil all the way. He was one of those ones after Cosby that raised the bar high for dads. So yeah.
And Jared.
I'm going to make it unanimous. I mean, I love Terry Crews, but Uncle Phil takes it.
It is Uncle Phil in a sweep.
We might be seeing that a lot today.
Jeffrey, grab the broom. It's a sweep.
Uncle Phil's on to the next round. Jeremy starts us off on this one. We have a play-in matchup. We have Randy Marsh versus Red Foreman.
Oh, fuck you, Freddie, again. Jesus. Oh,
And it's a playing matchup too.
that's a fuck playing matchup. But
Really?
I mean, I love Red Foreman. I see a lot of my own father, myself being a father from him a lot, but it's Randy Marsh all day. I mean, it's got to be. He's the fucking best dad in the world.
Oh, he's not.
What?
Not even close.
I thought the craziness wasn't gonna start till later, but damn, on the second one, like, wow.
Hey, if my dad grew weed, if my dad owned a weed farm, I'd be the happiest kid in the world.
Yeah, but dude, that's only been like the last like 3 or 4 seasons. There's like another 12 seasons where he's shit as fuck.
Oh, I know, but man, he's got integrity.
Randy Marsh gets a vote. CJ.
Yeah, he totally does not have integrity. Yeah, he is horrible. No. Fuck. I don't even remember who the other one was, but I'm going with the other one.
Red Foreman from that 70s show gets a vote.
All right, there we go. We're going red.
Darren.
Yeah, no, there's a reason why the Marsh meme is out there of him splooching everywhere. Fuck, that's where he stands. It's Foreman all the way.
Foreman gets a vote. Jared.
Red Foreman is an exact copy of a neighbor I grew up with. That he was awesome. Red Foreman gets my vote, 100%.
And Harvey.
Red Foreman has to be. He wins by default. That's just how it is.
Right?
Randy Marsh is ass.
Red Foreman gets the win. We'll be moving on to this matchup. We have Red Foreman versus George Cooper. CJ starts us off. George Cooper, by the way, is from Young Sheldon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm saying this is a difficult one. I think I'm going to go with Foreman again.
Red Foreman gets a vote. Darren.
Well, you know that Cooper is one of my picks, so I got to go with George. Just watching him, how they evolved the character from being just a beer drinking mook from when it was the Big Bang Theory description to him being there for all his kids. And I mean, the adultery and all the other bullshit kind of tarnishes him, but like the way he's with his kids is, yeah, it's got to go with Cooper.
Cooper gets a vote. Jared.
Man, I appreciate George Cooper, but I mean, Sheldon kind of walks all over him. So I'm going to stick with Red Foreman. Again, it's Ole Alstead. It's my neighbor. So Red gets my vote again.
Harvey.
Every time I see George Cooper, it reminds me of the treatment that fathers get on TV. It's the same thing that they did with Dan on Roseanne, and I'm sure he'll be coming up too. He was a great dad, and then randomly he cheats on Roseanne. Like, let's just screw with his image. TV does that a lot. Cooper, I'm going with George Cooper.
Which means it is a tie matchup between Red Foreman and George Cooper, and Jeremy gets to make the decision.
I mean, they're going with reality here because all husbands have the temptation to cheat from time to time. Certain honeys come walking past you, and you know you gotta follow the only mirror that's going that way. But it's just these are both good dads. That's the freaking issue. I love both these dads just a lot, but this time I'm going for Red. I gotta go for Red this time because you're all dumbasses.
Yeah. This one could have gone either way, and I'll be good with it.
Yeah.
Of course you voted for Foreman if you're calling us asses. Like, you fall right in line. Saying it just like
Dumbass. Red Foreman moves on to the next round. It looks like Darren starts us off in the next one. And we have Homer Simpson from, of course, The Simpsons versus Reginald Hargraves from The Umbrella Academy.
Wow. It's got to be Homer. Come on. Like, shit. The early seasons, of course. I mean, yeah, they dropped the ball late. But they've gone too long. But in those early seasons, the genius writing of Homer and being there for the kids and, like, just being that consummate TV dad. I mean, when you're looking at historically, there's going to be a picture of him in the Smithsonian at some point.
Homer Simpson gets a vote. Jared.
Homer gets my vote. I mean, the Umbrella Academy, those kids are so screwed up. I mean, that's a bit of a problem. And Homer Simpson, honestly, I mean, when he's sitting at his work and he's got all the pictures of the kids and he says, do it for them. I mean, come on. That's pure heart. He's a doofus, but you gotta love him.
Homer Simpson gets a vote. It's not do it for them, by the way. It's do it for her.
That's
because
Maggie.
the original it is Maggie. The original line was "Don't forget you're here forever."
Yes.
Trust me, I'm a Simpsons fan. And I'm pretty sure I have that picture somewhere. Homer Simpson gets another vote. Harvey.
Let's finish it off. It's Homer. He is a doofus, like most fathers on TV shows are kind of portrayed. But in the end, he does what he's supposed to, which is take care of the kids. So we'll give him. So Homer gets the vote.
Homer does get that vote on that one. Jeremy.
Yeah, never watched Umbrella Academy to begin with. So, I mean, and it's fucking Homer Simpson here. He motivates young fat men that they can get hot wives. So, fuck yeah.
Well, him and Peter Griffin does the same thing. So,
Well, Homer did it first.
By the way, Peter Griffin not on this list.
On the board.
He was too far down on mine. I know.
And he's
Yep.
a terrible father. How many times did them kids die?
Dude, there's one episode he called his daughter a meal ticket.
He's been fighting a chicken for like 15 years. You can't be a chicken. How you gonna raise a child? Come on. Let's be real.
Hey, that's one crafty cock.
CJ finishes out.
Okay, all right. Homer Simpson was a great dad for like 5 seasons. There's like 34 fucking seasons, dude. So,
Yep.
Yeah, he's a horrible dad. But he's still better than the dad from fucking Umbrella Academy, dude. So I gotta go with Homer for the sweep.
All right. Homer moves on in a sweep, and I'm pretty sure it's a lesser of two evils on that one. Jared starts us off on this one. We have Jebediah Bartlett from West Wing versus Dr. Cox from Scrubs.
White man.
Okay, from a standpoint of somebody who loves good, really well written television, I have to go with Dr. Cox. I mean, I appreciate.
I thought I was going the opposite way.
Scrubs is so well written. It's so crazy, and Dr. Cox, man, yeah, he's got my vote all the way.
Did you just tell me Scrubs is well written?
Yeah,
Scrubs is a terrible, terrible show. It's worse now as time has proven it's just terrible show than Weird Science is. Like it has not aged at all.
no, I can go back and watch those episodes, like the musical episode where they sing about "It's All About Your Poo." That is like.
I mean,
As a fan of musicals, I do have to attest to that. That is true. That is a very good episode.
I agree with you. Jared. I mean, I agree with him. It is well written. Scrubs was an amazing show.
Yep.
I agree.
But
I mean,
over
it's
West
not-
Wing,
no,
as far
no,
as being
no,
well written,
No,
that's what I'm saying. Is like
when
when he said that the show was well written, my mind automatically went to West Wing. West Wing. I'm not a fan of West Wing, by the way, but I agree it's better written than Scrubs is.
Gosh, it's a snooze fest for me. I can't stay awake through West Wing. Scrubs, I laugh all the time.
And West Wing has been comedied by Family Guy. I'm surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy brings that up later on. So Dr. Cox gets a vote, though. Harvey.
Yeah, so you're crazy. I say that with the most respect. West Wing is like miles above Scrubs in terms of writing. Sorry, you can't even. West Wing might be one of the best 2 or 3 written shows ever. Obviously, this is an opinion-based Pratt, so no big deal. But definitely, President Bartlett's a better father. than Cox. Cox was just a cocky, pretentious, but he was funny. I'll give you that. But I would definitely give my vote. West Wing would definitely give my vote. Yes. President Bartlett.
Is 1-1. Jeremy.
And that's exactly why I put Bartlett in here, is to see that argument from Harvey right there. But obviously I'm going with President Bartlett. I mean, yes, he wanted to put his daughter in a dungeon in the White House because of her dating, but still, Dr. Cox was barely a father though for most of that show. He only became a father for like the last couple seasons. Like, and it was for a baby. It wasn't like you didn't get to see the development really of it. So I don't even really consider him a TV dad, except they had a baby at one point.
Jebediah gets another vote. CJ.
All right, I was gonna say this is just my personal opinion. You know, fuck West Wing. All right, now I'm going with dude. I'll go with Dr. Cox. You know, yes, he was only a father for like the last few seasons, but he was a father figure to most of the doctors on the show to begin with.
Yes.
Father figure, mentor. So yeah, and then when he became an actual dad, he was great at it. You know, he was actually a better father than he was a mentor. You know, so it's Dr. Cox all the way.
Jebediah Bartlett was a father to a nation.
Everyone in that
What
cast.
the fuck? Yeah.
Talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Your rationale's got to make sense, bro. Come on. Martin
Fuck.
Sheen, dude.
Father
versus
to a
God.
nation. Yeah. So was fucking Trump. Man. Fuck that. Yeah, that doesn't mean shit.
They let anybody watch TV, CJ. Come on, bro. You better than that.
It is a tie game. It's a tie matchup right now, and Darren finishes it off. Is it Jebediah Bartlett or Dr. Cox?
You know, it's a hard one there because Bartlett you just said Martin Sheen. I mean, yeah, he basically 50-50'd with his kids because he created amazing with Emilio, and then we know what happened to Charlie. But the whole aspect of that show was based on the Clintons. And there was insider shit about the Democrats, and it was basically a huge propaganda machine for the Democrats, basically showing, well, this is how the presidency is, as opposed to, like, say, the House of Cards, where that's what the real Democrats are, but no one's going to admit to that. Cox will get my vote based on the fact that the two main characters are still doing fucking TV, and they're in commercials and entertaining me with John Travolta. So I'm going with Cox. Like you said, was a father figure to those guys, and those guys have moved on and continue to entertain us.
Dr. Cox moves on 3-2 to the next round. Harvey starts us off. We have Archie Bunker versus Dre Johnson.
We did a bracket on ours, and we talked about Andre Johnson as a father. And he was okay as a father. I don't think he was a great father. He was present. He had some good characteristics. Archie Bunker it's really hard to say. He wasn't the best of men, and that was the whole basis of that show. But he was, even against his will, he was a pretty good father, I think. That's difficult for like the first round. I loved All on the Family, but I think Dre was a better father, so I'm gonna go with Andre for this one.
I was gonna say, man, you better not make that wrong decision.
Dre Johnson gets a vote.
It's close. Don't.
People watching you. Yeah, you could have said that out loud.
All day.
Jeremy.
Put it this way. Without Archie Bunker, most of the TV dads in this bracket would never have existed. So I'm getting into the godfather of TV dads, freaking Archie Bunker.
So who wants your quote Dre on this one?
No, I can have that.
Just because you're first doesn't mean you're best.
Yeah.
But Archie Bunker does get a vote. CJ.
Doesn't have to be first be best, but still is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Neither one of these were great dads, but I'm going with Dre.
Dre gets a vote. Darren.
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, growing up like the 70s kid watching the 80s. I mean, kind of went downhill when they spin off George and Wheezy and the Jeffersons. And then when they tried to come back with Archie's Place, if we were basing it on Archie's Place, no doubt they just destroyed his character. But man, if there wasn't Black AF, I'd go with Dre all the way. But because of the fact that he actually plays himself on Netflix as the Dre character, I got to go with Carol O'Connor's portrayal of Archie Bunker.
Is a tie matchup coming down to Jared.
Boy,
Archie Bunker, Dre Johnson.
I gotta say, growing up, I had 3 channels of TV. I mean, cable wasn't a thing quite yet. Satellite. I was in rural Montana, and Archie Bunker was that dad for me that I latched onto when my dad was working and traveling and all that kind of stuff. I got to go with Archie Bunker.
Yeah. I love Blackish, but still, you can't pick. No.
I would personally watch Blackish more than All in the Family, to be honest, but that's me.
Oh God, no! God, no!
I'm not saying who's a better dad because honestly, between those two, I don't think there's a good answer.
Right.
Jeremy starts us off. We have Murray Goldberg from the Goldbergs versus Randall. Is it Pearson or Pearson? Pearson. Okay.
You haven't watched This Is Us, Freddie? What the fuck?
I have trouble pronouncing shit, so Pearson. All right. Murray Goldberg versus Randall Pearson. Jeremy.
And this is going to be another fuck you, Freddie, because, I mean, these are 2 different dads, but 2 great dads. I mean, they both are great dads. I mean, shit.
Nobody had blown their load.
I ain't blown my load over fucking Murray Goldberg, but I mean,
are you going to blow your load for any of these dads? I mean, with that kind of mentality there, sir.
I don't know. Maybe. You never know. Bill Cosby makes you do some things. You never know. But fuck it. I'm going to give one to Murray Goldberg because I don't think anybody else is going to do that. So I'm going to go Murray Goldberg.
Murray Goldberg gets a vote. CJ?
Yeah, and Jeremy's wrong because I'm going with Murray Goldberg. He was a great dad when he decided to show up.
Jeremy's wrong a majority of the time. Darren?
Yeah, well, Goldberg, there's a reason why the show was canceled. When Jeff left the show, it went down the shitter. So it's got Murray Goldberg was one of those core characters, and they based the majority, like outside of the Adam doing his memories. I mean, Murray was major part of that. Then, of course, the loss of Pops really, really hurt it as well. But I mean, Murray was that thing that kept it together, and they just don't have it anymore.
Actually, the show ran its course. The whole show was about the 80s, and it ran 10 seasons all the way through the 80s. That was it.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, it went on without him, and it was still funny to some degree.
Yeah. Gets the vote and the win on that one. Jared.
Murray Goldberg gave us permission to run stop signs and walk around the house in our underwear without being apologetic about it. Murray Goldberg gets my vote.
I mean, I don't need permission to do that, but okay. Harvey, who is probably going to prevent a sweep on this one.
His face.
Randall was his choice, by the way. Harvey, why was Randall your choice?
Because he was miles ahead a better father than he's over the top. That was an incredible character pick. He was just better because I think he was just more emotional with his kids. He was everything for those kids. I don't know. That show, everything about that show was just cry-worthy. It's just, I don't know. You had to have watched it to appreciate the kind of father that he was.
He was amazing.
To pick Murray, to each his own. I don't see it.
I didn't think he was going to win. Otherwise, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have.
I didn't think he was going to get out the first one. He was going out. He lost to Murray Goldberg. It's going to be an interesting vote today. All right.
I've never seen this. Bro,
Bro, CJ, you know,
Yeah. I've never seen this.
you think you know somebody, and
Yeah. No, I've never seen the show, so I don't know.
I gotta agree with you. I've never seen the show either. So
wow. CJ,
Oh.
watch an episode or two, and you tell me. And then you tell me.
Yeah.
Jamie's in comments, by the way. Say hi. Hello,
Yeah,
Jamie.
Jamie, you know I'll call you daddy. Come on.
Hey, Jamie, we're short a person. If you would like to join in, let you know.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Next up, CJ starts us off, and we have Cliff Huxtable versus Dan Connor.
Oh,
Fuck you, Freddie. Fuck you.
thank you, Jeremy. Fuck. Man.
Who's starting?
Me. I think this is not an easy one. Yeah, you got the black dad who had money, versus the white dad who had no money. They're both. I think they're both pretty great dads, but I gotta go with fucking Huxtable.
Mr. Cosby gets a vote. Darren.
Yeah, well, that you just said the name. Fuck, Matt. I grew up with it. That was I wanted Cliff and Claire as my freaking parents, but the real shit that went down and the just what was hidden and all this stuff. And I mean, if you haven't seen, we have to talk about Cosby. You need to watch it. That's a brilliant documentary by Kamau Bell. Just on that aspect, I have to go with Dan Connor.
All right. Yeah, but then you gotta separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
We're not taking the person.
I can't, man. Like I had Cosby albums, and when he's talking about Spanish Fly, and he's talking about like basically, I didn't understand what the shit he was promoting in his albums. Like I spent money to see the guy in like I just like it's hard. It pains me, man. When I watch the show, I'm crying because the fact is that broke my heart to have that person who was so instrumental in being the dad that we all wanted in the 80s to be that monster. I just can't. I mean, and John Goodman's portrayal of Dan was amazing in the early seasons. Yeah, it like everything else, it ran its course. I don't know. I've tried to watch the reboot. It just isn't there.
It's
It's not the same with. It's not the same without Roseanne. I would like to say John Goodman's father portrayal of Sully on Monsters Inc. was really good too. He wasn't a dad, but he was a father figure for Boo. So there's that. Anyway, Jared, Dan Connor, Cliff Huxtable.
All right, if I'm, I again, two minds, just like Darren. I mean, you know, the and CJ said the man versus the art, and honestly, for me, Roseanne was not that big of a show, but the Cosbys was. I mean, that was one that I tuned into. You know, I watched that every week, and I learned good lessons from that. And if I'm looking at it from that standpoint, then I have to go with Cliff because that's. I mean, that was something that I was attracted to when I was younger. Those lessons that you learned through watching that show. Yeah, Cliff Huxtable gets my vote.
Harvey.
If we're going to be keeping the artist and the part connected, then Mr. Goldberg shouldn't have won either. He got killed off the show because of some shit that he did, not because they just moved him. So let's keep that in mind when we vote, gentlemen. We are being a little hypocritical, I think. Hypocritical. With that said, Bill Cosby is a piece of shit. We know that. Cliff Huxtable was probably the best father on TV for a long time. And as a black male, I can say he was the first black father I saw that was a black man who was successful financially. Before that, it was James Evans in Good Times struggling. it was different fathers from different shows struggling in the hood and whatever. And what you got a portrayal with him, good or bad, was a black man making money with his family there all the time. A narrative that is continued to be, that's everywhere. And he was a piece of shit in real life. But that show was a black dad. He owned the show. The employees on the show were black. He sprung out, and that's we got a different world. I watched that show as somebody I related to, as a character. I don't want to deal with Bill Cosby in person, but we're talking about, I'm going by the characters. So definitely Heathcliff Huxtable would be the one I would vote for. I think he's the best dad TV's probably ever seen.
See, I would go with Russell Huxtable, the guy who played his dad.
I
if you were gonna
love
go
him. No,
with-
he was great too.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
he was a good one. Yeah,
And
he was
That
you know
show
that-
had multiple. That show
So
had
that-
multiple good black
multiple-
dads. Multiple.
100%, and that's why it hurt me so bad to when all the shit came up, because like I said, I can still quote the damn thing like patonk, like and how many stars, like white, black, it didn't matter how many people got their start on that show. Like Adam Sandler wouldn't be Adam Sandler if it wasn't for the Cosby
Right.
Show.
Right.
The guy who plays who's on Young Sheldon now, who is can never remember his freaking name, but was in The Princess Bride, was the neighbor. Like, you've got these iconic characters that were built from that. And yeah, like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about any of the other ones, but that was the one that it's so hard to tear that. And like you said, if we're tearing the person from the artwork, it would be like comparing going into pro wrestling and saying, I respect Chris Benoit. No, I can't. For what he did as the person, I can't respect, even though he's one of the most talented freaking performers the WWE ever had, that shit that he did in real life, it covers it.
I mean, I see you. That's a bit of a stretch, but I see you, boy.
Yeah.
Last up, Jeremy, Cliff, or Dan Connor.
I mean, as much as I love the joke about Bill giving out his pudding pop to all the ladies, I have to go with Dan Connor.
I really wish Jamie would have popped in during that entire thing, because hold on, Jamie, Cliff Huxtable, or Dan Connor.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go Dan Connor because he put up with a lot of shit. He really did.
And since Jamie is here, I get to vote now, and I am going to go for Dan Connor as well. Dan Connor was my pick. I put it in here, and because Dan Connor gave me the love of Halloween.
That's
Yes,
shenanigans.
they
That's a
did
good
put
one.
on some amazing Halloween stuff.
You guys talked for so long about this entire art versus artist. Jamie finally made it, and I couldn't predict Jamie's vote either. So
you waited through Jamie because you knew she.
no, I didn't wait for shit. You guys kept talking.
Yeah. I call shenanigans.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's a good restaurant. And plus now we're not going to have to hear the entire art versus artist conversation again. So hopefully not as much.
Assholes here. Let's
There's
see.
still a few
Let's
There really
assholes
is.
in there. Yeah.
with our vote. So that was just.
But
talk.
Jamie starts us off in a play-in matchup. We have, and Harvey, you're going to have to help me pronounce this because this is your pick. We have Tony Maselli.
My God.
Maselli. Okay.
He's the boss, baby.
The two L's make an N on my thing. So Maselli, Tony Maselli
Mm-hmm.
versus Al Bundy.
People.
I like how you fucked up the boss's name and you're supposed to be the boss of us. Come on now. Come on. Who's the boss now? Not you. We're gonna go with Al Bundy, the shoe salesman. Again, he went through a lot of shit just like Dan Connors, so we'll give him that play in.
Al Bundy gets a vote. Darren.
Yeah, Bundy all the way. The guy, he anything for his kids other than money, but like he'd fight for them. And so yeah, we just go with Bundy.
Jared.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Tony on this one. I mean, I don't know if there's a more damaging way that you can raise kids than Al Bundy did.
Al Bundy was a terrible father.
He was awful.
But everybody keeps saying how good he was. Let's keep hearing that.
Those kids are in therapy for the rest of their lives, and so I'm going with the boss.
Al Bundy gets my vote for multiple reasons, but the one reason I'm going to say right now, I'm going to keep the other one for later on if he goes on. There is a scene where they're in a movie theater, and Kelly finds out that her boyfriend's been cheating on her and blah, 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 but they're both in the same movie theater. Al finds out about it, gets up, goes to the back. You can hear him beating the living daylights out of this kid, and then comes back to the seat and just sits down and keeps watching the movie. That is one of the scenes. As a father who has a teenage girl who is, and I'm very protective of my kid as well. I know I can't do that because all these kids are underage, and I love my kid, but her feelings, realistically, as far as being cheated on, is not worth me going to jail. She'll survive. If somebody does something physical to her, there's jail time could be considered.
Yep.
But when it comes to feelings, that's different. Al Bundy gave me the at least hope that of sticking up for your kid, and not only just an emotional way, but in a physical way as well. So Al Bundy will be getting my vote in this respect. Harvey.
He took his child from what I think Brooklyn or the Bronx or something and got her to Connecticut for real life. Good father. He didn't have to beat anybody up to do it. I don't know. I just think he's a better father. Al Bundy sucked. You can love Al Bundy. He was funny. He was not a good father in any way. Just because he beat somebody up out of camera view doesn't make him good. And I'm a dad of 3 daughters. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will beat. I applaud you. 5 kids. You're ridiculous. You're a good man. I will beat somebody's ass on camera if you mess with my kids. Let's just make that clear. So we'll just put that out there. But if we're talking about Al Bundy's a great character, but he shouldn't be raising anybody's kids. His daughter was promiscuous. His son was a freak. His wife was sexually frustrated. Nothing. They had a house. They had a building. The house wasn't happy. There's nothing about that group. So Tony Maselli gets my vote. We'll leave it at that.
Jeremy.
I mean, considering I don't even know what show Tony Maselli's from.
Who's the boss? Dude?
Oh, I never really watched that. But yeah, I mean, Al Bundy is just the definition of manlyhood. So gotta go with Al Bundy. The man.
That's what manlyhood is. You're in trouble, bro.
May I speak on the behalf of all women?
Wow.
And say, Jeremy, take that back.
The man who taught me how to talk to my wife.
Wow.
When did
That
you
is
guys
not
play
the flex
so
you think it
much?
is, bro. At
Guys play
all.
so much.
I'm really glad your wife doesn't watch this show. CJ.
All right. Oh, ready to pick up what you're saying. When this first came up, I immediately thought of that exact same scene that you were thinking of.
I know, right?
Yeah. No, the thing is, what happened is, like, when she finds out, she talks to her boyfriend, and then, like, she says, "Okay, it's okay, I understand." Then she goes over, sits next to Al, and just goes, "Daddy," and he just goes, "Yes, pumpkin," and she jumps up and whoops the shit out of him. It's fucking amazing. And yeah, Al was a great dad. He was a shitty husband, but he actually did like what he could for his family, and and he actually listened to his kids, and did what he could to fucking help them. And he stayed at a fucking shitty ass job that he fucking hated every day just to make sure they had a roof over their head. They had toaster leavings to eat, and So he actually did what he could. He tried to be there for his kids. He was a horrible father. He was a horrible husband, but he was actually a pretty good father. So I'm going with him.
Al Bundy moves on to round one. We'll be facing Alan Matthews in round one, and Darren starts that one off.
Oh man. I'm going Bundy again. Like you said. I mean, it was Homer Simpson and Al Bundy. I mean, Fox had the monopoly at the time for TV dads in the 80s, 90s. And yeah, he was a shitty husband and a shitty neighbor and whatever. But yeah, like as much as Bud was a freak, he was there to talk to the kids when he wasn't watching Psycho Dad or any of the other shit that they had on the TV. And like he would grow a garden and like trying to teach them the ways of life. And the fact that they're in like south side of Chicago and he just did his best as a dad. And yeah, we'll keep him going.
Al Bundy gets a vote. Jared.
I cannot vote for Al Bundy. Just some of the stuff.
Speaking of dad.
So I'll go with Alan Matthews. Man, Boy Meets World. It was great. He was a great dad. He did great stuff with his kids. So yeah, he gets my vote.
I'm gonna go with Al Bundy on this one. My next point was actually going to be the entire job situation, which is why I said I'm going to save some of my points for future rounds. My dad, I legitimately made my dad cry one day. My actual father, I made him cry one day because I was going through a custody battle for my kid, which I eventually lost because I was a mom state, and he was there with me through the entire time. We were talking about it and everything else. And he told me flat out, he goes, I wish I was half a dad that you are, which of course would make anybody tear up. We were in the middle of a bar, by the way, when this happened. And I told him flat out, like, dude, even as a young dumbass kid, I could tell this, you worked at a job that you beyond hated. My entire childhood, he worked on the kill floor at a place called Excel. Jamie is around here; she knows what it is. Excel is it's a pork manufacturer, which means they killed dirty ass hogs all day, and he had to do that for 10 hours a day for like 15 years. Hated the job. But it was good money, and it supported not only myself, but it supported my mom and my brother and my grandfather, who was constantly in between jobs as well. So he did what he had to do because he didn't really have the ability to save up money and go get a better job. Now, when my parents got divorced, my grandfather died, and I moved out. He did have the money at that point, so he did actually go back to college and get his degree. He put everybody else first, and I think that's one of the things that Al Bundy sacrificed with his doing the job that you could tell he hated. He had some quips in there that are long lasting, but I see a lot of my dad and Al kind of helped raise me too, because I was watching that show when I was growing up, which is probably why I'm as fucked up as I am now. So Al Bundy gets my vote. Harvey.
Not anymore, but the defense of Al Bundy is pretty surprising. But I guess there's a special connection with him. That's fine. Alan Matthews raised his kids. His kids eventually worked with him in the store. He loved his friends. He loved his kids' friends. He's 10 times the father Al Bundy wished he was. That guy was a stand-up dad. He probably hated the job he had too, but he loved being a dad. And I don't think Al Bundy ever loved being a father. He just was a father because he had to be. I think Alan Matthews loved being a father. And between the two, one's a father, a legitimate father, and one of them was just a sperm donor, and that's Al Bundy. So I'm gonna
Damn.
go. I'm gonna
Burn. That
go.
burns worse than a girl having a yeast infection. Let's get it, honey.
I kind of want it. I kind of want to see Al Bundy move on just to see the piss and vinegar in Harvey's tone as he goes farther and farther along.
I pretty
Just
much
for
figured out
content.
the vibe. I've pretty much figured out the vibe of this, so I know what's coming. But yeah, it's all right. Ain't nothing left for me to say. Al Bundy's bad fatherness speaks for itself. It's okay.
Okay. Well, all right.
Jeremy,
Yeah, I don't even know what the other guy's from. So
Boy Meets World.
Boy
Meets
Meets
World.
World?
Oh, fuck that show. Yeah, definitely Al Bundy.
CJ.
All right. Now, what Harvey's at, dude? Oh my God, that hurt. Yeah, he's just a sperm donor, really? All right.
What did he do?
Now, all right.
CJ,
All right,
just
look.
tell me what
Hey,
he did as a father, bro. Just do it.
I did. I told you a lot of things he did as father. But I'm saying, there's one episode where he's tripping out that he lost his car. He thinks someone stole it. They can't find his car. Now they finally, and he won't specify what's so important in his car that he needs it so badly. They finally find his car. Now, once everybody leaves, he goes to the trunk of his car, pulls out a stack of Playboys. But hidden in between them is a picture, an old picture of just his family. That's it. That's what he was looking for the entire time. Was his old picture of just his family when they, his kids and everything when they were young. And that's all he wanted.
Like,
It's
that
just
is
a
not
picture of
knocking
his
on my
family.
heart.
Yeah, that's all he wanted the whole time. Was just a picture of his family.
Right in between.
And you had the nerve to say that he didn't like his kids, he didn't care about his kids, dude. You obviously didn't watch the show to stop that. I'm going
Jamie,
for
Jamie finishes out.
I just love it. Like I get CJ's point, and I see Harvey's like, that's just not it for me yet. I'm just not there.
He had a picture of his kids in between Playboy and
Yeah,
that is Father of the Year. Are you serious?
He hit him.
Dude, put the picture somewhere safe. That's
Hey,
the dumbest
hey,
thing
you
I've
know
ever
where you at.
heard.
You know where you at.
I have to say I do remember looking forward to TGIF Friday nights on ABC, and Boy Meets World was a part of that. So I'm gonna give that to Alan Matthews.
But okay, Boy Meets World was part of it, but was Alan Matthews part of it though? Because he, even as a dad, and that's one of the problems I have with the show, Alan Matthews was a side character at best.
He almost was, but it's kind of like they integrated him and Feeney together enough that, like, when Alan wasn't there and Feeney was there, we were cool with that.
No, Feeney was the main character. Take it this way.
Than Alan was.
I can't remember her name right now, but
Topanga?
no.
Who are you talking
There's Corey and
Topanga
what
is his girlfriend?
No, not Topanga. Corey and his the I'm drawing blanks on names. The main Sean. Okay, Sean's girlfriend.
The black girl?
Yes.
Yeah, Angela.
Okay, Angela has more time on Boy Meets World. She was more of a part of that show than his dad was.
Yes, but think of how
he's not part of the show. He is a side character. The only reason he's there is to so people will not ask questions on why he's not there.
We didn't ever question where he was because he was a good enough father on camera. While here we are looking at Al Bundy questioning his fathering. Wow,
I disagree. I disagree. He was a great father. Like you know what I'm saying, Feeney was far more of a father figure than Alan was. He
really was. So then here, my vote is for Boy Meets World, not Alan Matthews.
Okay, I'm not. Okay, that's the thing. It's just, I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. So anyway, Al Bundy does move on though in a split vote 4-3. We'll be right back right after this break. Looks like Harvey, Jeremy, CJ, Darren, and Jared all have side projects. Is there anybody who would like to do an ad?
Yeah.
What was that, Harvey?
I said I will do an ad at the end.
Okay. I just
Let's
heard
see how
it.
far Al Bundy goes first.
Al Bundy's probably going to win this thing. So,
No. Al Bundy's not going to win this thing.
No.
I don't
No.
know. I'm
It's
fresh.
Jeremy.
based on y'all voting right now.
Hit
Yeah, he's
the
not-
headlines. It's fresh. Al Bundy seems to be a winner so far.
No, I wouldn't vote Al Bundy at the end.
Strongest ones. Are
It
still-
depends. To be perfectly honest, I don't want Al Bundy to make it out of the second round.
I want to see Al Bundy in the final. Just see how he's.
I really don't. Jeremy, add or wait?
Wait. I just ate. I need to digest.
CJ.
This ain't like you
no,
can't go
I'll have
swimming
ad
for
right now.
30 minutes, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. CJ is waiting too. Darren.
No, we're actually like trying to revamp the show, so yeah, I don't know what's
There you
gonna
go.
happen.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll
Good.
give us a break here. So I'm ADC Truth. ADC stands for Angry Dad Canada. We talk truth every Thursday, covering basically cover a lot of Alberta politics. I'm based in Alberta, Canada. We just elected a fascist government that has direct connections to DeSantis and Abbott. So we helped launch the Alberta Accountability Alliance. So we're working on that as a registered political third-party advertiser. You can go to the co-fi.com/talking truth and get merchandise and help support the show.
And Jared.
This is Jared Stull here, the founder and father figure, I guess, for Still Train TV. We are a fun comedy, family-based YouTube channel. That puts up regular content, and check us out, Still Train TV on YouTube.
What kind of content you put out? Since we all have kids. Well.
That's a good question. It is not kid-based content, but it's a family fun-based content. It's good for all ages, but we create fun videos. Some of them are scripted. Some of them are just improv. We do family games. We have lots of crazy friends that do comedy and often join us in our videos.
All right, everybody ready to go? We are back for the second half of round one, and it looks like Jared starts us off. We have Joel Miller versus Danny Tanner. Joel Miller, if I remember right, is from Last of Us, and of course, Danny Tanner from Full House.
Oh man, as somebody who has very much appreciated Bob Saget's comedy. I gotta go with Danny Tanner. I always loved that character. The show was just heartfelt and fun for me growing up, and he was a great dad. Great dad with his brothers, the uncles.
Danny Tanner gets a vote. I'm a fan of Pedro Pascal in general, but as far as but I've never seen Last of Us, and I've never played the game either. I'm not a gamer by any means. So even though I don't like the show Full House or Fuller House for that matter, I do love his comedy outside of the actual show, like his adult dirty comedy. So I'm gonna go for Danny Tanner as well. Harvey.
Seen Last of Us, so I really can't comment on that one. But Danny Tanner was a good enough dad; he can get the vote, so we'll go with him.
Good enough. How did you say that? Oh,
Jeremy.
Listen, he was a dad, but he had a whole lot of help. A whole
he
lot.
really did.
Agreed.
It takes an army.
Mhm.
Amanda, you did drink it again, but yeah, I mean, yes, Danny Tanner was an amazing father, but did he get shot and stabbed and fucking walk all the way across the country for his, not even his real daughter? This is an adopted freaking kid, for God's sake. So, I mean, Joel is a fucking way better father. Like he put his life on the line 1,000 times for that kid, and put up with her mouth. I would have backhanded that mouth the way she talks.
Wow.
Amanda, by the way, is in comments. Pedro
Yeah.
can get it. ... But so could Bob Saget, and Danny was the best dad. If you're listening on Spotify, by the way, every Saturday we do our show live on YouTube at 1 Central. You can go ahead and play along in comments, just like Amanda is doing currently. CJ, Joel Miller or Danny Tanner?
Yeah, I've never seen the other show. And honestly, I don't think Danny Tanner was that great of a dad, but I'm going with him by default.
Default it is. Danny Tanner will be moving on to the next round. Jamie?
As he should be. My maiden name being Fuller and Fuller House, and I actually share a birthday with the great late Mr. Bob Saget. I'm going to vote for him because he had taught me it's okay to be OCD. Legit, I had a super big connection to that because I'm manic about it. So Danny Tanner made me feel good about being clean in my house. So we're going to give him the vote because he taught me some good sandwiches and shit too growing up. No joke. I have a sandwich called the Full House, and if you don't make it right and cut it right, then you ain't eating it. You got to start all over again. I just got called a fag. Aww.
And Darren, finish us off.
Yeah, so I mean, Danny Tanner was the nerd dad, but Bob Saget's portrayal of him was amazing. The fact that you got the most foul-mouthed, adult-driven comedian to actually pull back and play an emotional character that lost his wife, who has to help raise his 3 daughters with the help of his dead wife's brothers. So, like,
Brokles.
So it's like one of those things that it hit home. I mean, it was drivel at times, it was entertaining at times, but Bob Saget, like, the fact that he could do that and America's Funniest Home Videos is just amazing, because you see the stand-up, you see the roast, you see any of the stuff of him talking outside of anything to do with ABC. And yeah, just an amazing portrayal. And he was a good dad. If we're going to go with dads on TV, unlike someone's opinions of Al Bundy, Danny Tanner was a good dad.
I have to say, I had tickets for one of his shows coming up, and I was gonna get a meet and greet, because the one question I wanted to ask him as a spinoff to his comedy is, I know what you would do for certain things, but what would you do for a Klondike bar? Just to see what his reaction would be. So if you haven't
Really,
seen
really, really dirty things. Mr. Isaac Merton is in comments right now, giving Jeremy a shout out.
What up, buddy?
Danny Tanner moves on 6-1 to the next round. Next up, I start us off for the first time, and we have a play-in matchup. We have Michael Bluth versus James Evans Jr. I'm not a fan of
Senior.
Is it senior? Okay.
Senior.
Yeah.
All right. It's senior. I'm not a fan of either one of these shows. I'm not. So I'm going to go with whoever I think is going to lose to the person that is going to end up facing, and I'm going to go with Michael on this one. So there's that. I have no other reason besides that. Arby.
James Evans from Good Times, one of the best fathers on TV. Literally died for his children in character. So, fantastic father. So, I'd go for him.
Jeremy.
Yeah, he was a good father on Good Times, but the shit Michael Bluth went through for his kid, like, was just unbelievable. And plus, it's fucking, what's his name? Jason
Bateman.
Jason Bateman, yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously Arrested Development.
CJ.
I'm definitely going with James Evans Sr. That whole family is just it was something that I can actually relate to watching them growing up, and and being from a poor family, a poor black family, watching him do his thing, like trying to hold his family together. And he was amazing. He's a great dad.
Jimmy.
I'd have to say James Evans Sr. Is that what his name?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
just a classic, old school, traditional father. No other good reason for the vote. He just has that old school value, and I dig that.
Darren.
Yeah, James Evans Sr. as well. Like Jeremy said, that if it wasn't for Archie Bunker, there wouldn't be these other people. If it wasn't for James Evans Sr., there wouldn't have been a Philip Banks or Andre Johnson or any of these other ones. He was the epitome of the black TV dad in the 70s.
And Jared, finish us off.
As much as I love Arrested Development as a show, I can barely remember Michael as a father and interacting with his kids. There's all the other stuff about Arrested Development that I remember and I love, but as far as fathers go, no, man, James Evans Sr. for sure, 100%.
We'll be moving on to the first round. Harvey will be starting us off on this one, and we have James Evans Sr. versus Walter White.
How do you get into this list?
It's clearly James Evans. I don't think if you know the show, this is not even a contest. This is not even a contest.
Wow.
Walter White is my pick, by the way. Like I'm the one that put him in this list. I will explain why when it gets to my vote. Well, I'm voting last anyway. Jeremy.
Oh.
Yeah, this is definitely James Evans Sr. Definitely. I mean, yeah, Walter White likes to play with dynamite, but yeah, still.
CJ.
James Evans Sr.
I already have it written down. Jamie.
Oh man, why? I'm going with James. I can't not.
Hold on, real quick question. Harvey, Walter White or Al Bundy?
I think it's safe to say they were both trash dads, but one of them wasn't a criminal outside the house or inside the house for that matter. I mean, I guess in that case, Al Bundy's not going to have me killed, or so I guess if that's what it takes to get me to vote for Al Bundy, he's not the meth king of the world or something.
Hey, we gotta win.
Yeah, Al Bundy. Yeah, you have my picture with my Playboys. Oh, you love me. Okay, so.
All right, Darren.
Yeah, no, Walter White is a despicable piece of garbage. Not only did he do his own family wrong, Pinkman, killing his girlfriend while he's over, having her OD and doing nothing about it. And then basically manipulating Jesse for the entire show until he gains a backbone and finds Mike. It's James all the way.
Jared.
Oh man, I remember that scene from Breaking Bad where Walter's talking to Skyler and he says, "I did it for me," and it's not about the family, it's not about the kids, it's just for him. So James Evans Sr. for this one for sure.
Walter White was my pick, but the only reason I picked Walter White is because I thought I was going for somebody else, and I completely I got the name wrong.
Sure, Freddie. Sure.
Yeah. Apparently, the guy's name I was trying to think of is actually it's not Walter White. It's Austin White. But for some reason, Walter White is in my head, and I knew Austin wasn't going to go anywhere. But I wanted to bring him up, and now I can't remember the name of the show because of my fuck up. So Yeah, James. Oh, that should be a fun one too. James Evans Sr. will be moving on to round 2
With a sweep.
with a sweep. Next up, Jeremy starts us off, and we have. I'm going to mispronounce this, so whoever picked this, please let me know. Louis
Wong. Louis
Wong.
Yeah.
Wong. Yeah.
Fresh off the boat.
Yep.
Okay.
Louis Wong.
Okay, because that's just spelled weird. So
That's
Louis Wong.
Yeah.
Louis Wong versus Jax Teller.
Jack Steller from what?
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
You really don't know a lot of these dudes, do you?
Yeah, it's not Wong, it's Hong. H-O-U. Yeah. I guess U-N-G. Hong.
Okay, that's just not how I would have spelled it. So
On the show they always say Louis Wong. So, but I mean, and I'm going for Louis. He's an amazing father. He works his ass off for his children in that show, and the main character looked up to his father so much for what he did, and he put up with the wife who was crazy as that shit. So yeah.
Louis gets a vote on that one. CJ.
Oh, we definitely go with Lewis. Yeah, for all those same reasons. 'Cause damn.
Jamie.
I don't know who Lewis is, to be honest. So I'm just gonna vote Jax Teller because at one point I can't remember when the show ended. I think he's trying to do what he can to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended to the 2 cycle there. But he's doing what he can for his kid, and it might not be for all the good reasons and the right things to be doing, but he was always thinking of his kids. So I'll give it to Jax on this.
Jax gets a vote.
You're gonna give me shit and you haven't seen Fresh Off the Boat? You kidding me?
I know.
I'm yet to see Fresh Off the Boat too. Actually, it just didn't look appealing to me, so I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's
I
hilarious.
can't judge the character, but I at least know who he is.
Jax Teller gets a vote. Darren.
Yeah, it's got to be Lewis. One of the best Asian dads out there, and it was like the black dads and like taking away the stereotypical can't understand because they're using a strong accent or whatever. It was him or Ken Jeong were at that time that Asian representation in a positive way. And I mean, like you said, he did everything for his freaking kids, and he bought Kenny Rogers restaurant. So like the guy was just awesome.
Jared. Louis Hong or Jax Teller?
So I got to go with Jax Teller. I have not seen Fresh Off the Boat, but yeah. So just by default, Jax Teller.
I will be going with Jax Teller as well on this one. He's one of the few one of the few dads that I've ever actually seen get kids away from a terrible mother, because kids go with their mom the majority of the time, unfortunately, especially in TVs. You hardly ever, the only time you see a single dad in TV is because their mom died. So there's that too. Yes, he was a criminal, but he was trying to take the entire system that he was in and turn it into a legit thing. He even copped to stuff that he didn't do so he could get his kids away from the life that he had, trying to get a better future for them. I can't say much about Lewis because, again, I've never seen the show. I've seen previews for it. It's just never really seemed like something that I would like. That's judging a book on the cover. I'm aware of that, but that's me. Jax Teller gets my vote, and I don't think either one of them will be moving on past second round anyway. So, Harvey, finish this up.
Lewis gets my vote.
Yep. Louis Hong moves on 4-3. Next up, CJ starts us off. We have Carl Winslow versus Jack Pearson.
Jack Pearson's from what show?
This is us.
Oh, yeah. Carl Winslow.
Jamie.
I loved Family Matters. It is Carl Winslow for sure.
Darren?
Yeah, it's Carl Winslow. I mean, the fact that Urkel had no parents and he was the dad to him, even though the character was annoying as hell, the only thing that would be the only glitch on there is the fact that the middle daughter went upstairs at the end of season 1 and never came back. So never explaining the fact that he wrote off the middle daughter and then brought in the nephew, and then it just became the Steve Urkel show. But Carl was always, like, Reginald Vell Johnson was always instrumental on that show, and being a spinoff that actually was more successful than the original show because Perfect Strangers was the spinoff that it came from, but it was Harriet that was the character from there. So, but Carl for sure.
They were just pulling a Happy Days and having a character go upstairs, and never come back down.
Yeah, the oldest brother. See ya.
For me, it's Carl Winslow. Yeah, classic, right? I mean, it lives in our collective subconscious as that awesome dad.
I'm going to go with Jack Pearson on this one, mainly because Carl Winslow's already moving on, and Randall only got one vote, and there should be at least one person from that show to get at least 2 votes. So, Harvey.
Jack Pearson is an amazing father, pretty much the stalwart on that show. That show was based around the amazing man that he was. So, Carl Winslow was okay. He was all right. That show was just ridiculous to me, but
Agreed.
he was a parent occasionally. I felt like the mom was really more her parenting them kids, but they drop him in whenever he needs to have a serious conversation with Edward and be the foil for Urkel. Yeah. Other than that,
I completely agree.
Looking back on the Mother's Day episode, I don't think, because we did the same thing with TV Moms, I don't think Harriet was even made the list.
No, that was somebody that I had thought of at one point, but I don't think Harriet was on the grand list of all.
No. Vivian, yeah, Aunt Viv made it the first round, but that's it. So,
right.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Pearson is one of the greatest fathers of all freaking time, and he literally died for his kids saving their damn dog. I would have said, fuck that dog, I ain't going back in there. But yeah, he literally was one of the greatest fathers of all time. You watch him be a father in that show, and if you don't tear up when he dies, you are not human. So, I mean, yeah, he should have moved on. Carl Winslow. That's a joke.
Speaking of moving on, Carl Winslow moves on, and I'm assuming that was a vote for Carl.
No, that was a vote for.
Okay, good. Then my thing is right. Carl Winslow moves on 4-3. Next up, it looks like Jamie starts us off. We have Tony Soprano versus Ned Stark.
Oh, really? Tony Soprano and Ned Stark. Oh my God. I'm gonna go Tony Soprano. We're gonna go off the wall for this vote, just cause.
Wow.
I'll probably be the only one, but that's cool.
Darren.
Tony Soprano.
Jared.
Ned Stark. Come on.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go Tony Soprano as well. I don't like Game of Thrones. I just don't. Like, that's one of the shows that everybody was like, "Oh, it's so good." No, it's not. It's just not. It's a terrible freaking show.
I've never seen a single episode.
I've seen too many. That's yeah. Harvey, Tony Soprano, Ned Stark.
They're both bad. I mean, but I guess Tony Soprano, lesser of 2 evils.
CJ?
Dude, look at no, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Look at Ned Stark. No matter how shitty he thought the show was, he was still a great dad. Fucking Tony Soprano was barely a dad at all in that show. Dude, oh no, he was horrible. Yeah. Oh God. What's with y'all? Yeah. Ned Stark, definitely.
Jeremy, I think I skipped you.
You did.
I did. Damn, I apologize for that. Jeremy, finish this out.
Yeah, I never watch either of these shows really, but Tony Soprano definitely.
And if 5-2, we going up to the next round. Darren starts us off. We have Phil Dunphy from Modern Family versus Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Phil Dunphy, all the way.
Jared.
Oh, Rick Grimes. I mean, the stuff that he went through to find his family. I mean, and Coral. I mean, he's turned it into a meme. You know, I mean, it's yeah. Gotta go with Rick Grimes.
Gets a vote. I'm gonna go with Rick Grimes as well. Not again. I'm not a huge fan of Modern Family, so that's coloring a little bit. But I actually do have a reason behind Rick Grimes. He took in a daughter that was not his. You could tell that, like, storyline wise, and he knew that the daughter was just not his at all, but still just forgave everything and went on. Almost died multiple times to try to save his family, killed a whole bunch of zombies and people to save his family. So done unspeakable things. Rick Grimes gets my vote. I don't like The Walking Dead either, though, to be honest. So that it really doesn't color either way between not liking the shows, because I don't like either of them. Harvey. Jeremy.
You can't predict a Rick, but yeah, it's 100% going to be Rick Grimes. I'm not. I never watched Modern Family. I'm not like one big fan of it, so definitely Rick Grimes. Walking Dead's amazing.
CJ.
I went with Phil Dunphy.
Jamie.
I have tried watching The Walking Dead twice and I just couldn't do it. I really just couldn't get into it. So I'm going to go with Modern Family. Watching that show with my parents is probably one of the funniest things that we like to do, is just watch some of these shows and just talk about it. So Phil gets my vote.
4-3, Rick Grimes moves on to the next round. Darren starts us off. We have Jason Seaver, who one of the people that could not make the show today is Q. He's doing some family duties today. He put his own name in here because apparently Q's been on TV before, so he put his own name on here. So
I've been on TV. I should have my name in there because I'm more of a daddy than him.
That's
Ooh,
Q. Ooh.
that's a chat conversation.
Yeah,
Anyway,
get him.
so Q is being taken out by Jason Seaver,
Yeah, easy.
and he is Jason Seaver is facing Ted Lasso.
Ooh, shit. Okay. That makes it even hard. That makes that harder. I thought it was Q, and then we just say how good Jason Seaver was on Growing Pains and all that shit. That's hard, man. Lasso is Sudeikis is amazing as Lasso. Like, that character's got so much build, and not just a father to his own son that he's living away from, but he's a father figure to the players and even to Rebecca. Like, I mean, he's just one of those guys, and the fact that he, spoiler alert, that his own father committed suicide, that just all this stuff, to be able to be that dad with all that trauma that you've dealt with. Yeah, it's Ted Lasso all the way.
Ted Lasso gets a vote. Jared.
So I put in Jason Seaver for this because I grew up on Growing Pains, loved it, loved that dad, but I didn't know he was going to be against Ted Lasso. And Darren, you're 100% right. When you look at, I mean, that is a family show all of the way. Yeah, he's dad to this one child that's away from him, but he is a father for the entire cast, and it's in my opinion one of the best written characters to ever come across television. 100%, I'm going with Ted Lasso.
I will be going for Ted Lasso as well. The only reason I'm going for, because I don't really care about either one of these, the only reason I'm going for Ted Lasso is because one of our commenters who was in the show, in the comments before, Miss Amanda, is a huge fan of the show. So I am going to be voting for Ted for her. So there's that. Harvey.
I'm an 80s kid too. I grew up with Growing Pains. He was a great dad. He worked at home, so he was always there. I think, yeah, I enjoy that. And I haven't watched Ted Lasso enough. Basically, what I've heard on the character, he's a good guy, but I don't know him, so I'm going to go with who I do know. Give me Alan Thicke.
Get to vote. Jeremy.
Alan Thicke. That was my porn name at one time, but
Blurred lines.
Jeremy. What
but
are
yeah,
you doing?
yeah. I'm going with Steve. I haven't had a chance to watch Ted Lasso yet either, and I've seen Growing Pains enough at least to know that character. So,
CJ.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely a difficult one because I also did grow up watching Growing Pains, but I also watched Ted Lasso. And they are both great dads, but I will have to go with Ted Lasso.
And Jamie, finish us off.
I just want to let everybody know I'm voting for Alan Thicke, and the means that he made Robin Thicke, and I am happy about that decision. So my vote is Alan Thicke. Thank you very much, sir.
We're celebrating the swimmers today on the show. Ted Lasso moves on to the next round, 4-3. Last up in round one, Jared starts us off. We have Ray Campbell from Sister Sister versus Bandit Healer from Bluey.
Okay. I gotta go with Bluey's dad, 100%. He practices something that we call improv parenting, right? And if money were not an option, if that was not a concern of mine, and time and all the other stuff that I had to do, that is exactly the kind of parenting that I would do. Imaginative play parenting as much as I could with my.
I will be going for Bandit as well. Bandit is my number one pick among all the dads. It was the first one I picked. Everybody here, well, at least the most people who are on the show majority of the time, know that I'm a huge fan of Bandit in particular. The imagination in this show is absolutely fantastic. I'm yet to meet a dad that can do 10%. 10% of what Bandit commits to the gag. Seriously, like there's no the just one episode heavy. I'm gonna go on that one. His daughter gets a feather. It takes him like 3 hours just to get to the car because he can't move. The mom does it too, but like there's a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, in the newest season, I have not been able to watch this yet, but I love Bluey just because it tackles heavy subjects. One of the subjects being tackled in season 3 is men's mental health, which is not talked about, and this is going to be getting talked about, and not only on it talk about on TV, but in a cartoon and in a kids cartoon, which means kids across the world will be able to, especially boys, have the ability to grow up knowing that they don't have to hide their feelings, which a lot of people in my generation and previous generations have trouble with. And this is the reason why suicide rates for males are so much higher than women, is because we can't talk about our feelings because it's frowned upon to do so. That's the way we grew up. So I'm really glad that the character like Bandit can tackle subjects among this matter. And that is just one reason I'll be voting for Bandit on this one. Harvey, what is your pick?
Go with Bandit also. You swayed me. Sounds like a good dad.
Oh, fantastic! If you guys ever get a chance to watch the show Bluey, even with or without kids, just go watch the show Bluey. You'll have a blast. Jeremy.
Yeah, I think I'll give it to Bob from Puppy Pals.
Show, but okay.
Wow, that's like Let's Vote for Evolution.
No, completely different shows. I'd much rather not watch that one. Anyway, Jeremy, for posterity points, what's your pick?
I'll give it to fucking Bandit.
Bandit gets a vote. CJ.
I'm still going for Ray Campbell.
Yeah, it was your pick, so yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, it was.
What was it, Jack A, that he had to deal with in Sister?
Yes.
Yeah, he almost gets a point for that alone. I'll go ahead and give it to Ray. He had a lot to deal with.
Yeah, he took in his took in his daughter's like twin sister and her crazy fucking mother. But
Right, and he was actually an active dad along with Tryon, and so he was a good part of the storyline. So I'll give it to him. I don't disagree with the Bluey side of it. So to this vote, I don't care either way on who wins.
And Darren finishes out.
Yeah, I would agree. Tim Reed's portrayal as the dad was awesome. I mean, I still loved him as Venus Flytrap. Like just that transition of being Venus Flytrap on WKRP to being the dad of the twins was just crazy. But yeah, if you haven't seen Bluey, I mean, my daughter's 11 and she still watches it. And the episode where it's his birthday and he has to eat the plants because the kids keep screwing up the eggs, I laughed like tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. So just like it's just a great portrayal. And Freddie was saying, to be able to actually get past the BS of the commercialism and capitalism of TV to get to the point where you're actually channeling emotions on a kids program, 100% go with Bandit.
5-2, Bandit Healer moves on to the next round. We'll be right back right after this break. Jeremy or CJ, ads?
No, I don't have any. No.
Okay. Jeremy?
Yeah, sure. I'll do one quickly. Come check out Maniacal Music Musings, especially tonight when we start off Chancey's birthday celebration with a dog fashion disco bracket. Oh, the fun of talking about the crazy songs they do will be a blast tonight. And be sure to check out the continuation of Chancey's birthday celebration next weekend when we have a 2-part secret bracket that Chancey knows nothing about. Good to go. Yeah.
Okay. We're in that one. All right. Welcome back to we're going to start with round 2. It looks like I start this off, and we have Uncle Phil versus Danny Tanner. And I have a feeling Uncle Phil's gonna run roughshod through this entire thing. I really do, and he deserves a vote, but so does Danny Tanner. So I'm gonna give it to Danny Tanner, knowing that Uncle Phil's just gonna blow everybody out of the water. Harvey.
Easily. Not much to say about that. Great father in every way. Great role model. He brought a kid into his home too. I think he's a good guy. I can vote for him comfortably.
So Phil. Okay.
Definitely Uncle Phil. Yep.
Jeremy.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but still, at the end of the day, it has to be Uncle Phil just because he raised a great man named Ward Smith.
I knew that was coming up somewhere. CJ looks like he's out of the office right now. So, Jamie.
I don't know if I'm going to be friends with any of you guys. If Danny Tanner loses to him, I'm going to be peaked. For Uncle Phil taking in an extra kid, cool. Kudos to him. He gets a point. I get that. I've been there, done that. But look at how they ran all over him. For him being a judge, he sure is a pushover. I want Danny Tanner to be my dad.
Janet Tanner gets a vote. Darren,
Uncle Phil.
watch this be a freaking tiebreaker for CJ, and he's not even here. Jared,
No, I'm Uncle Phil. I'm in Uncle Phil's camp in this one.
CJ is still not here, so I'm going to skip him and move on to the next one. Uncle Phil will be moving on.
He would vote for Uncle Phil. He would vote for Uncle Phil.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm going to assume he's going to vote for Uncle Phil as well. So, just for dexterity's sake, I'll ask him when he gets back. But
vote for Danny with me. God, you guys are
with us, I voted for him too.
True.
Sorry, that scene between him and Will Smith, where after the real dad left, that just like that's iconic, and that is the dad. Like even though he was shitty with his own Hillary and all the other ones, but what he did with Will and keep him on the straight and narrow. As much as I'm not a Will Smith fan, but that scene just over the
Okay,
top.
Darren, you win the whole conversation because that episode I will rewatch it and be like, that was absolutely.
Well, I'm not. It's not that not that episode. That episode realistically is not that good. That scene is fantastic.
No, it brings a lot
CJ,
of perspective.
CJ, is it just for dexterity's sake? Is it Uncle Phil or Danny Tanner? That's what we had down. Harvey starts us off. We have Homer Simpson versus Louis Hong.
Fuck you, Freddie.
Louis
Is that five? Is that 5 or 6? I kind of lost count. It's been a minute.
Too many fucks to give.
I know. Jeremy, Louis Hong, Homer Simpson.
Homer's been around longer, and he's lasting longer than Louis ever did. So it's Homer.
Apparently, they make pills for that. CJ.
Oh, Louis Hong. He was actually a great dad. Homer was not.
Jamie.
Spider Pig does whatever Spider Pig does.
Darren.
Yeah, as much as I loved the early episodes of The Simpsons, man, I gotta go with Louis. I mean, he from the first episode to the last, he was that stand-up dad.
Jared.
It sounds like I need to go watch some Fresh Off the Boat. I'm gonna have to go with Homer Simpson just for lack of reference on this one.
And unfortunately, it's going to be the same route for me because it is lack of reference. I'm going to have to go on. I do love some of Homer's the same way with like Bundy as well, that he's stuck at a job that he doesn't want to be at for now going on 34 years, but it's the same. It's like Groundhog Day. It's the same year. Yeah, it was Bowling Alley. I think he worked at the bar for a while, and he's done a whole bunch of other stuff. He's worse than Peter Griffin when it comes to jobs. So, but Homer Simpson will be getting my vote on this one. Jeremy starts us off. Archie Bunker or Tony Soprano?
Oh, Archie Bunker all fucking day. He actually stood for his daughter and shit. Like, because he didn't like the meathead that she wanted to marry.
CJ.
It's sad. All right. I gotta go with Archie Bunker. I never thought I'd ever say that.
Yeah, I know, right? Jamie.
I think because if one person stood up to the other, Tony Soprano would step up to Archie Bunker. So we're gonna give him that vote.
Only because he had a gun on him at all times.
Hey, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying he stepped up. I didn't say with what or without what.
Well, yeah, but
if you're fist fight, Archie'd win.
I'm pretty sure Archie Bunker wasn't just blowing smoke as well. So
exactly. But Tony Soprano would probably be the only one gutsy enough to try to step up to Archie. I mean, Archie, he's a good guy. I've seen some of the episodes here and there. core family values wise, but otherwise, I don't like him.
That I'm pretty sure All in the Family wouldn't have the balls to end even the episode mid-sentence. Darren.
It's got to be Bunker. Like, just the even when he showed the fatherly aspects with Lionel, like just the bigotry or whatever. Like it's like he was the caricature, but ultimately he was the patriot of the family. So like everything, there wouldn't have been All in the Family if it wasn't for Archie.
Jared.
I'm going with Archie Bunker as well. Again, when that show came out, that was the dad of the day. You know, maybe a little bit farther than normal dads, but that was kind of what was expected of fatherhood at that time. And Archie Bunker, he was it.
I'm going to go with Tony Soprano. Just because Archie Bunker will already moving on. So, Harvey.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
Archie Bunker. Sorry about that. Archie Bunker, definitely.
Moves on 5-2. Next up, CJ starts us off. We have Dan Connor versus Ted Lasso.
Oh shit.
I don't like Ted Lasso enough to say it. You guys hate yourself this time, TJ.
Yeah, I'm going with Ted Lasso.
I think CJ is one of the few recurring peoples that I've never gotten a "fuck you, Freddie" from. So there's that. Ted Lasso gets a vote. Jamie.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Dan Connor. I don't know. Like I said, he dealt with a lot. He had 3 very different personalities in each kid, and then not to mention his wife, his sister-in-law, and all of the boyfriends and husbands the sister-in-law had. At a job, he also tried to do what he could for him. So I'm gonna give it to Connor since Danny Tanner's voted out.
Well, at least made it to round 2. Darren, Dan Connor or Ted Lasso?
You know what? It's hard now. Like early, the play-ins and the first round, you slam dunks, but this one gets harder and harder. Like when you look at emotional connection, I mean, Ted Lasso is more emotionally connected now because it's immediate. It's currently in our mindset, but if you go back to some of those episodes where they're dealing with some of the stuff, I mean, especially the financial stuff, like the stuff that you can't get away with now, but like we're going to send an envelope that doesn't have a check in it, or like he opens a bike shop, like stuff that like you said, he did everything for his freaking family. As much as Ted is a father figure, Dan, man, he has the long lasting dad to everyone. So yeah, I'm going with Dan Connor.
Jared.
This last Halloween, I can't tell you how many dads I saw that dressed up as Ted Lasso for freaking Halloween. So I just in this round, from the pure standpoint of I don't know how many people would dress as Dan Connor for Halloween. I'm gonna have to go with Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso gets.
I look like Dan Connor every fucking day of my life. It doesn't have to be Halloween.
Ted Lasso gets a vote. I'll be going for Dan Connor on this one. As a Midwesterner, as a Midwestern dad as well, the Roseanne was based in just outside of Chicago, so not too terribly far from me. And like I said, it's like Dan Connor reminded me a lot of my dad. Same kind of build too, to be perfectly honest. And doing things that he didn't want to do for the money for his family, and he finally got to live his dream, and with the entire bike shop and everything else, and plus again his love for Halloween just made my love for Halloween. So Dan Connor gets my vote. Harvey.
Gets my vote also. He's one of my favorite dads. Underappreciated dad on TV. Roseanne was kind of annoying, actually. The character, she was annoying as hell. But, the show was wrapped around her. So definitely Dan Connor, one of the best TV
Yeah.
dads ever.
Dan Connor gets a vote. CJ finishes up. No, sorry, Jeremy finishes up.
Damn, dude, your strokes are going to.
I know.
But see, I never watched Ted Lasso, and Dan Connor's the fucking man, and now he gets to bang the original mom from Married with
Katie
Children.
Seagal.
Yeah, now he gets to bang Katie Seagal on the show. So fuck yeah.
No, but
I would have gone with Sofia Vergara, but that's me. From
oh yeah.
yeah, that's me. that's probably his best wife he's ever had. That's Jamie starts us off. Red Foreman versus James Evans Sr.
I gonna start you off already?
Yeah.
Look at that. Red Foreman, because he acted a lot like my dad. Like my dad would give you that I'm going to kick your ass if you don't shut your mouth look. And it was always entertaining and it wasn't ever out of line. And Red Foreman, I just feel like that's the way he should respond. I just like his banter.
Jamie wasn't here at this time, so Red Foreman beat Randy Marsh and George Cooper to get here. Darren, Red Foreman or James Evans Sr.?
James Evans Sr.
Gets a vote. Jared?
Again, I mean, Foreman he's my neighbor. He was my neighbor, Ole Alstead. So I'm going with Foreman.
Gets a vote. Also will be getting my vote. Not a fan of Good Times. I'm just not. Like it's just not my. It doesn't relate to me. So I apologize for that. That '70s show does in a really weird way, except for the weed-filled basement. That doesn't relate to me, unfortunately. But there's that. Harvey.
James Evans Sr. by far. Fantastic father. Great man in general. So definitely my pick.
Jeremy.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but I mean, I am definitely more like Red Foreman than I am like James Evans Sr. So it's definitely, I call my kids dumbasses all the time. So
Red Foreman gets to vote and the win. CJ.
Still going James Evans Sr.
Yeah, I was sitting there like the swing vote is Jeremy on here because like,
Yeah.
well, I'm pretty sure Red Foreman is not going to be making out next round. So
what can I say? Red Foreman is dynamite.
Bruh.
Darren starts us off.
Yeah.
Dr. Cox or Carl Winslow
Winslow.
will be getting a vote. Jared.
Oh, for me, that's a tough one. Again, I think Dr. Cox played that Ted Lasso character as the father figure for all of the interns and the medical students and the doctors. But yeah, we saw too little of him as an actual dad. So I'm going to go with Carl Winslow on this one.
I'm going to go with Carl Winslow on this one as well. There was a scene where his son gets pulled over and him and his wife go in, and his wife is just about to just break somebody, but he goes in there and just accuses the hell out of him. And then there's a diner, kind of a diner scene or like a cafeteria scene where that same thing happens, but it's internal to the police force. And to do that in front of your wife is one thing. To do it in front of people that you work with every day, that's a completely different kind of respect that you have to give to somebody, because that's kind of shitting where you're eating type thing. You're not only going to have to deal with it to appease your wife, you have to deal with it, and then you have to work with the same people day in and day out, and it's going to be a daily thing. So for him to do that is just absolutely crazy.
Well, that scene had the fact that the guy just called him whatever, and he's like, "No, I'm captain, or I'm sergeant. I'm your freaking superior. Just because I'm a black man and you're a racist piece of shit doesn't mean that you can look down upon me. You actually have to show me respect because I'm your superior in the police force."
Harvey.
Carl Winslow, definitely the better father. There's a lot of scenes, I guess, and that was another one that I can relate to as a black man and as a black father. So that's stuff that I have experienced, and at some point my son will also. So it is what it is, but definitely Carl Winslow from the family, definitely.
But hopefully it's getting better every day. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Carl Winslow with that will be getting the win. Jeremy.
Yeah, I never really watched Family Matters that much, so I'll give it to Dr. Cox.
CJ.
Yeah, honestly, didn't think Carl Winslow was that great of a dad, but at the same time, Dr. Cox was barely a dad in the show, so I have to go with Carl Winslow.
And Jamie finishes up.
This whole time I've been thinking, is this the same Dr. Cox we discussed in our Hall Pass episode, or what episode was that with us ladies? I don't know, but it got a little wild. So
it wasn't Hall Pass. We were talking about him in Villains. I remember he was in the Villains episode. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not Hall Pass episode.
Okay, I couldn't remember, but he was a hot topic before, pun intended. So my thing is you didn't see him very much as a father, as previously mentioned, but when you did, he was super soft, and he was really he had that paternal instinct more than you would have ever thought. So it did bring to light how he was with his residents and all that stuff. But I'm gonna go with Dr. Cox just because of that little glimmer in him.
5-2, Carl Winslow moves on to the next round. Jared starts us off. We have Rick Grimes versus Murray Goldberg.
Oh, gosh, this is. I mean, you're from a television standpoint, you're talking about a serious drama versus a comedy, and I have a comedy background, so I kind of lean that way. But then, just remembering how I felt as Rick Grimes tried to search for his family when he was first coming out of coma and everything was going to hell. Just the emotional, compelling character that I was cheering for. I'm gonna go with Rick Grimes on this one. Again, the stuff that he went through was hard, and I mean he did it because he wanted to be with his family.
I'm going to second that one. Rick Grimes gets my vote. Harvey.
Rick Grimes gets my vote.
Jeremy.
Just to keep it interesting, because I love both these fathers, I'm going to give it to Murray Goldberg.
CJ.
All right, so I've never seen the other show, so I'm going with Murray on default.
Jamie.
That's a yep.
So it's a tie game. Darren, Rick Grimes or Murray Goldberg?
It pains me, but if I'm actually going to have any integrity or whatever, I called out Bill Cosby for his shit, so I'll call out Jeff for his shit, and I'll go with Rick Grimes.
Integrity.
Rick Grimes moves on to the quarterfinals. Last up in this round, I start us off, and we have Al Bundy versus Bandit Healer. And this should be a sweep. Realistically, if you guys are going dad for dad, this should be a sweep.
Get the shotgun. Oh, Yellow's going in the barn.
No, it's Bandit Healer for all the things I previously mentioned. The simple fact that it gives dads one more reason to be upfront parents, because it seems like the fact that when dads are parents, when dads are taking time away from their friends and stuff like that and their social events to take care of their kids, they're like, oh, I'm taking care of the kids. It's babysitting, but when moms do it, it's called parenting. This is one of those shows that you see the joy that you get by being a parent to young kids, and especially girls too, which is a lot of fun. So, Bandit Healer gets my vote on that one. Harvey,
Likewise, good father. Easy vote, easy pick for this one.
Jeremy,
Are you seriously trying to say that Al Bundy is not fucking have everything out in the open in front of his kids? Like he hides nothing from his kids. Everything's out in the open. Like
Maybe
fucking
he
Al
should have
Bundy-
hid some stuff from his kids.
Yeah, there's
yeah, probably.
that there's those things you keep to yourself. He don't, and he need to learn that that's a line.
Yeah, fuck the lines. Al Bundy gets my vote.
CJ,
I've never seen Bluey, so I'm going with Al Bundy.
you're missing it. I'm the type of person, by the way, that I'll watch Bluey when the kids are out of the room. It's that good of a show. It really is.
And he hasn't even watched the Stone Guy, so I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, no, it's fun to watch her in high too, but that's besides the point. Jamie, Al Bundy, your Bandit Healer.
So I've only seen like a episode and a half of Bluey, and I felt like I was getting in trouble or getting a lesson taught to me. Like I was confused. I didn't say I didn't enjoy the show, but I'm like, what did I do? I'm walking away learning a lesson. Like I just got in trouble. So we're gonna give it to the good old doggy dad there.
Doggy Dad gets a vote. Darren.
Bandit.
Makes my heart go wild. Jared.
Inconsequential vote here, but definitely Bandit, 100%.
5-2. Bandit Healer moves on. All right. Last break. We'll be right back with round number 3. Everybody has done their ads, but nobody has blown their load, so make sure to keep that one in mind. It looks like
Well,
I started off
after what Q did to me last week. That was
and then me. Yeah.
yeah.
We are back for round 3 and beyond. No more breaks after this one. I start us off. We have Uncle Phil versus Red Foreman. I don't think it's going to matter, but I'm going to go with Red on this one. And I knowing Uncle Phil's going to win, just to prevent a sweep on this one. Red Foreman gets my vote. Harvey.
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil probably going to win this entire damn bracket. Jeremy.
In honor of Will Smith, Uncle Phil.
CJ.
Uncle Phil.
Jamie.
Red Foreman, dumbass.
Darren.
Uncle Phil.
And Jared.
Uncle Phil for me.
5-2. Uncle Phil moves on to the next round. Harvey starts us off on this one. Dan Connor versus Bandit Healer.
Ooh.
Can't hear you, Harvey.
Can't hear me. I'm not muted.
Yeah, we still
really
couldn't hear you
can't
though.
hear?
We couldn't
Really?
at all. We can now.
Oh, that's weird. Dan Connor, the man. No animated daddies here.
Yeah. There's only 2 cartoons left in this entire thing. Dan Connor gets a vote. Jeremy.
Oh, it's definitely going to Dan Connor.
CJ.
Who's he against again?
Dan Connor versus Bandit Healer.
Dan Connor.
Say it don't matter.
Jamie.
Because Danny Tanner got voted out, I'm still gonna go with Dan Connor. Oh, yeah.
Dan's the man in this one. He will be moving on. Darren.
Bandit.
Jared.
Bandit for me, all the way.
It would have been Bandit for me as well, but Dan Connor got the first 4 votes. So we'll be moving on to the quarterfinals. Jeremy starts us off. Archie Bunker versus Rick Grimes.
Okay, yeah, this is where Rick Grimes gets to become dead. It's freaking Archie all day.
Archie gets a vote. CJ,
Rick Grimes.
Jamie,
Like I said, never really watched Walking Dead, but I'm gonna give that my vote for what you guys have been saying about him.
Darren,
Bunker.
Jared,
Rick Grimes for this guy.
just because Jeremy was an asshat when it came to Bandit Healer, I'm going to go for Rick Grimes.
Wasn't that my pick too?
It doesn't matter. You've been going for Archie Bunker like headstrong with him the entire time. So if I'm gonna cut you, I'm gonna cut you with that one. Harvey, dude, your sound keeps cutting out.
That's really weird. What are the who are the dads that are going up against each other?
Rick Grimes versus Archie Bunker
Archie Bunker.
in a 4-3 split. Rick Grimes moves on.
Good, because I couldn't say Archie Bunker again.
And last up in this particular round, CJ starts us off. We have Carl Winslow versus Homer Simpson.
Carl Winslow.
Jamie,
Carl Winslow.
Darren,
Carl Winslow.
Jared.
I'm gonna go with Homer Simpson. Man, he's kept those kids young for over 30 years.
All right.
I'm going to go with Homer Simpson. Just the fact that he is absolutely fantastic of coming up with pet names for their pets. Homer Simpson gets my vote. Harvey.
So,
Carl Winslow. He's cutting out again, but Carl Winslow gets his vote. Jeremy finishes up.
Homer Simpson, obviously.
4-3. Out of the final four, 3 of them were split votes at 4-3. The other one had a 5-2. Jamie starts us off on the final 4, and she gets to pick one of these to start us off. We have Uncle Phil, Dan Connor, Rick Grimes, or Carl Winslow.
I want the Uncle Phil and Dan Connor one.
Well, they're not facing off against each other. That's just
fine. Dan
that's
Connor.
just the 4 that we have. It is Uncle Phil versus Rick Grimes.
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil gets a vote. Jared.
Uncle Phil.
Jared.
Rick Grimes for me.
I'm gonna go with Rick Grimes too, just because. Harvey.
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil wins like everything, so that's the reason I'm voting against him. Jeremy.
Tough one. I mean, Rick actually did a lot more to protect his kids than Phil actually did, because Phil could pay people to do all those things. But I mean, Uncle Phil never took a bullet.
He didn't have to. He had money. There's a difference.
Yeah.
He protected different ways, but
And he was smart.
I mean, maybe he
much
took,
smarter.
maybe he took a rubber bullet in one of the protests he did back in the day. But
There you
I don't
go.
Although
Bro.
both shows featured a stick called Lucille.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeremy.
yeah, I gotta give it to Uncle Phil. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't.
Uncle Phil gets to vote and the win on this one. CJ.
Of course, Uncle Phil.
And that's also why it wouldn't matter.
5-2. Again, Uncle Phil moves on to the next round. And other one, Darren starts us off. We have Carl Winslow versus Dan Connor.
Wow. You got to go Carl Winslow.
Jared?
I don't know. For me, it's Dan Connor. I think he was more of a father figure in that family than Carl Winslow. Yeah, Dan Connor.
I'm going to go with Dan Connor as well. Harvey? You get your mic check there, Harvey. Jeremy.
Let's just put it this way: in the opening scene of the start of the reboot, when it was Roseanne still, Dan puts his leg where Roseanne, trying to get some morning action. That is a man after my heart. So I'm going with Dan Connor.
Jesus. CJ.
I want to say this again. I don't think Carl Winslow was that great of a dad. He was a good dad to the boys. He hardly ever really talked to the girls. And he lost a whole fucking kid. I gotta go with Dan Connor.
Dan Connor gets a vote. Jamie, finish this out.
Dan Connor, especially after that last comment. I forgot about that.
Hey, Dan Connor swapped his kids. He had 2 different Beckys. Anyway.
That's true.
All right, going for third place. Jared starts us off real quick. We have, looks like Carl Winslow versus Rick Grimes.
Rick Grimes for this guy.
You know what? I'm going to, just to piss off CJ, I'm going to go with Carl Winslow. Harvey.
Rick Grimes.
Jeremy.
Rick Grimes in this one.
CJ.
Rick Grimes.
Jamie.
Yep.
And Darren.
Winslow.
And Rick Ross gets the win.
Rick Grimes gets third place. I start us off, and of course, with it being the final one, and nobody had blown their load this entire time.
That you know of.
Being the finals, I am. Well, you do have a white background, so I'm gonna blow my load. There's that, Harvey.
Uncle Phil.
Gets a vote. Jeremy.
Tough one.
Oh, you know what's right for you.
I gotta give Dan Connor though.
CJ.
Uncle Phil.
Jamie.
Dan Connor.
Great. I'm gonna be a tiebreaker. Darren.
Uncle Phil.
Jared.
Make him be the tiebreaker.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna go with Uncle Phil. I couldn't. I
you go.
couldn't stand Roseanne. Dan just was a sidekick. Uncle Phil.
Just killing Jamie here.
For dexterity's sake, I would have gone with Dan Connor on that one. Just more of an anti-vote, just because Uncle Phil wins these all the time. So Uncle Phil does win the TV dash bracket on this one. I'm the only one to blow the load in this entire thing. That's our show this week there, guys. Harvey, where can people find you?
Find me on harveythegare.com, where you can find Men Are the Prize, the podcast. You can find me on Love is Black podcast.com. That's where I do the podcast with my wife, the hot wife, Carice. Otherwise, type in my name. You'll find me on Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn. I'm talking about random stuff all the time. Yeah, some crazy people in here with your votes, but that's all right. It's America. You can make mistakes on camera all you want. It's fine. This was interesting. Let's go. Jeremy.
And don't forget to search him up as Velveteen Dream on OnlyFans. But you could find me on Facebook as Jeremy Bryant, or as Paranormal Normal / Maniacal Music Musings podcast for the S group. Name change coming soon. You can find me on Twitter and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard, or you can find me on the TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard podcast, or you can find me on YouTube as Paranormal Normal, Maniacal Music Musings. Call me Daddy all day. That's a new channel I started. And
That's your OnlyFans?
Oh, yeah.
Mine is called Thick Allen instead of Alan Thick. I figured that would work better.
CJ.
All right, you can find me on Facebook, CJD Tucker. Do not come looking for me if you're easily offended or you're a crier. Yeah, do not come looking for me. I'm also one of the original masturbators, and you can see me pop up on there every now and then, as well as on a bunch of other shows like this. And we're also working on a show with Dre and Casey, season to season. We're actually revamping and redoing that. So, we're gonna come back bigger and better before.
Jamie.
You can find me between fuck around and find out. Anywhere in between there. Sorry. It's been a day for me. I've been working too much. You can find me on the Book of Faces. I don't ticky-talky. I kind of tweet a little. I don't know. I'm on some socials. Find me if you want. I'm not scared.
Darren.
I was just Google searching myself. So on the first page, you go ADC Talking Truth, and you can find all the different things. And yeah, join if you want to hear the truth about what the hell's going on. Connect with us on Thursdays because we spill lots of hot tea and aren't too scared of what the repercussions are going to be.
You staying safe with the fires up there, by the way?
Yeah, we're actually right in the middle. So north is where there's some nasty fires, and then south there's some, but we're right in the middle. So other than some smoke that comes in occasionally, we're pretty safe.
Jared.
Stay safe.
You can find me on YouTube at Stoll Train TV, and then Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just look up Stoll Train, STULLTRAIN, choo choo, and you'll find me there.
And I am your host, Freddie Fisher. You can find me at that on Facebook. While you're on Facebook, check out Bracketology. We have 2 polls going up every single day. Currently is the IMDb Top 64 and Movie Mustaches. Speaking of Movie Mustaches, we'll be doing that next week as a bracket by ourselves, so come back and enjoy that one. We're on Twitter at I'm at Fisher77. We're all at Bracket Pod. And I'm on Instagram at Can't Lick Me. Not one word. That's our show this week, guys. We will leave you with the line from the late, great Jerry Springer. And that is this: take care of yourself and each other. See you next week, guys.